Hello, everybody. I'm coming to you from the clubhouse down in Acapulco, Mexico, Maine. Yes. Everybody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me good. Yes. Very nice. Thank you. All right. Nice to see friendly faces on here. I'm going to leave that. There we go. Good. All right. Well, a lot of stuff going on. Not the least of which is the reappearance of the nascent Clint Arthur mustache. This is the Senor Clint mustache returning in Acapulco. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. And uh, I know that a lot of you are. I know some of you are coming down here. Some of you are coming down here in a couple days. We have Hugo from the Daily Flash, the national show. He's going to be with us all week, January 23rd to 30th. Yeah. And that's going to be a very good thing. We'll see if he'll be kind enough to talk to us about, his decades in television and, secret insider tricks about getting booked on shows like his, not necessarily his, but like his. Yeah, that'll be a good thing. And it's great to be back here in the beautiful weather. And most of all, it's great because Nova is so happy to be back. Nova is like, over the moon. Over the moon. Now, is that the real Leon Brie or is that a video Leon Brie? If that's a real Leon Brie, give me a peace sign. Gotta always check with Leon Brie. What's the deal? What is the deal? All right. I see many of you on here who are either authors or who have written books or who are in the process of writing books. And I just wanted to talk briefly about the importance of books and how to use books for instant positioning for television. They're so important. And and by the way, how does it sound? Does the audio sound good?
Yes, and you match the sunset.
Oh, thank you. But it's
You're not very loud.
not very loud.
It's a bit low.
Is that better?
It's a bit low.
Yeah. Okay. Better.
Is that louder?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me boost it a little bit. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm using my new studio microphone, but gotta get it all dialed in. That's really because there's dials. There's dials. All right. But that's better, right? Okay, good. How important it is to have a book about what you do, because what they're looking for, like I remember when Allie and I produced 13 episodes of a TV series together. It was like Dr. Oz in Spanish. And I remember we introduced this girl on the show. Dr. Mario introduced her on the show. And Dr. Mario goes, and today on the show, we have America's top Zumba instructor. Or actually, he didn't even say that. He said, we have Miami's top Zumba instructor on the show with us today. And the girl goes, oh no, I'm not the top Zumba instructor. My mentor is the top Zumba instructor. And it really opened my eyes to how important it is to be able to introduce a person powerfully with something exciting. See? The ideal, I find the ideal is for the host to be able to introduce you as the number one best-selling author. Hey, Ali, would you turn on the AC? Thanks. Number one best-selling author of the book on your topic. If you can have that as your credibility, that is perfect. That's instant perfection credibility. Yeah. And it's so important to have that kind of perfect credibility because you want the audience to be excited to view the guest. And if you've never written this in your book, or even if you have, you should probably write on a whole page, never correct the host. It's not your job to be the monitor, to be the department of truth for what hosts say about you. That's not your job. Your job is to show up and do a great job. Whatever they say, that's what they said. Like, for example, when HLN, when I was introduced on Headline News, they said, with us today, what does that say? What does it say? Rule number 2, give them what they want. Yes, that's true.
Give them what they want. If
Give 'em
they
what they-
introduce you that way,
Hey, when they introduced me on Headline News, they said, and with us today is Hollywood's top media trainer to the stars, media trainer to the stars. That's how they introduced me. And I use that in my bio. Okay. And I didn't say that. They said that. If they call me media trainer to the stars, well, who am I to disagree with Headline News? You would think that they would know. You would think they would know what they're saying. Media trainer to the stars, I'll take it. And I took it and I've used it. And I use it in my bio, even to this day. But ideally, what you want is you want the book that identifies you as your subject matter expert on your topic. And you want to be the number one best-selling author of that book. Now, Dana Lamb, she has her surprise date challenge and the sequel, surprise date challenge at home. Is that right?
Sorry. Yes, the home edition. And our third one is ready to go too, which is the bedroom edition.
Let me ask you this. Like, surprise date challenge home edition, right? Why isn't it just surprise date challenge at home or surprise date challenge in the bedroom?
Well, we have a whole line of books that are, oh, sorry. You're saying if you were the host.
No, I'm just saying,
Oh.
you know, as a fellow author, why you didn't just call it at home. Like, for example, I have different backgrounds, right? And I have my new logo for The Greatest Show of All Time. And those episodes, by the way, are starting to air. The first 2 episodes have already aired. So they're going in order of the shows that we recorded. And I think Maggie's show is week number 3, which should be this weekend. Okay.
Thank you.
And that'll be airing live on 77 WABCradio.com. That's what it is. WABCradio.com. You can hear it live at midnight Eastern on Sunday night. But when I created the logo for the show, when I've been working on the show, I don't have it say The Greatest Show of All Time with Clint Arthur. I say Clint Arthur, The Greatest Show of All Time. That's just the logo. Like my goal is to get rid of all extra words. And all I'm saying to you, Dana, is that the word addition, I don't know how that's working for you.
I mean, so far we just launched it November. So, I mean, we've been selling, the last couple of months, like 80 books a month. So,
Good.
Mhm.
It's
I
good.
mean, and which it's better than our, this month, actually, we've sold more, of the new book than we have the original. So we'll see.
Okay. All I'm saying is it's good to
Mhm.
like get rid of any extra words.
Okay.
Always good to get rid of any extra words. How's that, Leon Bray? Is that better?
That's kind of your sexy voice.
I'm talking, you can't even see it. I'm talking like right into the microphone. I don't know. Can you see the microphone?
Kind of.
A little bit,
Yeah.
right? Little. Yeah. You just see part of the microphone. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm just after getting rid of extra words. That's all. Because every word has to earn its way on there. And this word addition, I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know how that word got in there. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we were playing around with different things. I think because we've come out. I mean, I have a list of like 10 books we want to do. So we thought, oh, we could just add addition after all of them. But you're right, maybe it's not necessary. That way there was kind of a theme. So double date edition, bedroom edition, girlfriend edition.
Yeah, exactly. But your brand is Surprise Date Challenge.
Mhm.
All you need to say is Surprise Date Challenge at home. Surprise
And
Date
what would you say
Challenge.
for the bedroom?
Surprise Date Challenge in the bedroom.
Okay. And what about double date? You still need an extra word, wouldn't you, to describe it? So
Surprise Date Challenge on a double date. Or just double date.
Hmm.
I don't know.
okay.
You got to look at every word because everything matters. Every little detail matters with everything that you're doing. All right. Leon Bree, you have a book? You write your book yet?
I wrote my first book. I'm writing my second book.
What's your second book?
How to Get Unstuck.
What's the first book?
It was the rough draft of the book. It was Kindle version. So I'm writing the physical copy right now.
Well, that's just another draft of the same book, right?
Different content.
Different content? Why?
Why?
You already have a
Because
book called How to Get Unstuck.
I have a cover and some content in it.
Okay. You don't feel like you really wrote that book. Is that what you're saying?
Because I didn't. It was just a draft.
Well, I mean, a draft is a book, right?
Until someone buys it. Yeah, a couple of people bought it and returned it.
Who cares? That it's just a marketing tool, but it's a book. I mean, you don't feel like you really ever wrote that book. I think that's the problem.
Correct, because I didn't really. I didn't finish, so I couldn't print it out.
You're attached to the idea that a book is not a book unless it's printed. Have you read my newest book, Your Reality Series?
No.
Well, that's a book. It's never been printed.
did you pitch producers with it?
Yeah, I was on Washington D.C. with that.
Okay. One show.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I want to continue. I want to get more shows, so I just want to solidify it so that I can move confidently forward.
Yes, it's important. Listen to what he says. He wants to move confidently forward with the book. He wants to get the book so that he feels more confident about it. That's really what he's saying. And I think that's a really important thing for everyone to hear, because your success is determined by your confidence in your own product slash pitch slash shtick. The more confident you are in your shtick, in what you're talking about. What does shtick mean? Hey, Maggie, you know what shtick means? What does it mean?
Yeah, it's like your branding, your
What does it
your
really
shtick,
mean?
your what your gig is, what you provide.
We
You
gotta
know,
look
like
this up.
oh,
What
in
is-
the Yiddish dictionary.
yeah, in the Yiddish dictionary, right? What does shtick mean? Let's see.
Shtick
Shtick
is your
is a gimmick, comic
yeah.
routine, style of performance, etc., associated with a particular person. There are many great comics who have based their stand-up shtick on observational comedy. Second definition, a person's special talent, interest, or area of activity. Movies about ordinary women who do extraordinary things. That's my shtick.
Right, like people who do rom-coms and things like that. Or I joke and sing about living with diabetes or about anything really.
Yeah, the first here, this is in Merriam-Webster Dictionary, usually comic or repetitious performance or routine or a bit. Second definition, one's special trait, interest, or activity. He's alive and well and now doing his shtick out in Hollywood.
Right. Like Joan Rivers used to talk about her husband, and that was her shtick, like her.
Yeah, but and that is really more in keeping with the main definition of shtick, which is about comedy. However, it's important to understand that definition number 2 of shtick is not about comedy. It's about a special trait, interest, or activity. And the more confidence you have in your shtick, the more you're going to be able to get booked on TV with it. And most importantly, sell what you're talking about to customers and prospects. And what Leon is saying is that without the book being quote unquote real, without having a real book, he doesn't have enough confidence. He doesn't have as much confidence as he would like to have to really go full gangbusters. And that's one of the reasons why I recommend that you write a book on your topic, because if you're not the published author of a book, and I don't believe it has anything to do with whether it's a hardcover or an ebook. I don't think it matters one bit. I really don't think it matters at all. The only thing that matters in the book is, do you believe in the book? Do you feel like you created something worthwhile? And let me ask you, tell me some of the stories in the book, Leon.
I don't have stories in the book.
Yeah, that's why I asked you that question. Because what I have learned is that unless you have stories in the book, no one's going to read. Did you ever read my book, Celebrity Entrepreneurship?
Yes.
And what percentage of that book is stories?
100%.
100%.
I wouldn't compare your book to my book.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. I'm just saying any book should be all stories. If it's not stories, like Allie and I were watching the Brene Brown Netflix special. Raise your hand if you've watched Brene Brown on Netflix. 1, 2, only 2, and me. Only the top 3 on this webinar. Pictures on the top 3. Okay, the Brene Brown thing. Brene Brown's like this hot TED Talk speaker. And she's all about passion, right? Isn't that what that's about? Passion? Like living your passion, living with passion. And she's telling stories for about 75%.
She talks about being vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability, yeah.
Yeah, vulnerable. She's telling stories for like 75%. And then at the 75% mark, then she starts teaching her 10 pillars of being vulnerable. And that's when Allie and I completely checked out. Like we stopped paying attention. And then after she taught her shtick, after she was done teaching her shtick, then she went back to telling more stories. And that's when we got re-engaged. And this is the hottest speaker in the world. I mean, Brene Brown. Oh, Brene Brown, right? Dana, right? Maggie, she's the hottest speaker there is. Brene Brown. She's you know, everybody like would like to get Brene Brown. Oh, she's amazing. But as soon as she started teaching, we were gone. We were gone for like 15 minutes. We were surfing on Facebook, texting, really. The hottest teacher there is, the hottest speaker there is, gone. So that's why you need to only be telling stories. If you really want to do a good job, what you need to do is you need to say, okay, what are the topics for getting unstuck? And obviously the topics are going to be isn't your formula the free formula?
Well, I'm going to include that was one of the table of contents. The new table of contents, I'm just giving them some tools they can use.
Okay, well, whatever the tools are, if you're just going to explain the tools, then that's not going to be a great book. If you want to have a book that people are actually going to read and that you're going to feel good about, you need to tell stories about how you use that tool. Each one of these chapters should begin like this, Leon. Okay? I had this major problem. My major problem was what's one of the problems that you were stuck with?
Well, for one, I'm stuck writing this book.
Yeah, that's not it, because you have to be talking about problems in your life that you've already solved and gotten unstuck from. Because look, every TV segment that we do, folks, every TV segment that we do starts with a problem that is identified by a major section of the audience. That's why we have that statistic. Every segment we do starts exactly the same. Every segment begins with a statistic. On your TV segment that I created for you, Leon, what was the statistic?
2 out of 3 Americans say that they're stuck in the same daily routine.
In the same daily routine. Okay, great. Does everybody get that? 2 out of 3 Americans say that they are stuck in the same daily routine. That identifies the problem for the TV producer. If there's no problem, then there's no segment. And the bigger the problem, the better the segment. And the more people affected by the problem, the more successful the segment is going to be. See, that's why Paul Nebb's segment was so great, because at some point in your life, you're going to need to call an ambulance. either for yourself or for somebody else. And it's a life or death problem. First, we identify what is the problem, and you need to be thinking for yourself and for your segment, what is the problem? For Olga, the problem is, hey, every year, X amount of houses are damaged by storms. For Linda Fostek, the problem is that at some point in your life, you're going to have a crisis in your life. The problem for Maggie Hunts is that 60% of America is either diabetic or pre-diabetic. That's the problem. And then once we've identified a problem, now we're going to offer a solution for the problem. Well, it's the exact same formula for a chapter in a book. You have to identify what was the problem that you had. See, when I start my book, Celebrity Entrepreneurship, I talk about how I had a problem. I had a really big problem. My problem was that I realized that Tony Robbins was my competition. That was my problem. Let's see if I can help this out a little here.
So the book should be stories on how we solve the problem.
I think so, yeah. Because what you want to do is you want to identify the problems that your audience has, and then you want to show them the solutions. Now, if you had a table of contents that demonstrated to them like 10 problems that they really have because they're a diabetic, and then they go, oh man, yeah, desserts. I would love to know 5 desserts that I can eat as a diabetic. Oh my God.
Well, I can see how I can redo my diabetes book on that. What do I do about the new one that has 3 topics in it, not just diabetes?
Well, that one's like from your life, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, what I would try to do is identify things through the lens of problems. Because what I have found, I remember when I first started going to seminars and paying money, big money, to go to seminars and be part of masterminds and stuff like that. Buying programs, $2,000 program over the, online after watching a series of webinars. I'll never forget, the host identified my problems. He goes, are you tired of not being able to sell books or tickets to your seminars or getting people to enroll in your high dollar coaching programs? Or do you feel like your special gift and talent is just wasting away on the vine because no one is discovering you and you're not able to have the impact and the influence and the income? That's what I would say right now. Wasn't all of that enticing stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I understand, because that's the message that I heard. See, those were my problems as an author, a speaker. And part of it is, are you sick and tired of not being able to get on the stages that you want to get on? Not being able to get those prestigious venues and conferences, and all you get is rejection letters for your applications to be a speaker. And people are interested in your coaching, but they don't pull the trigger, certainly not for the big money.
Right. And the speaking is for bupkis money too.
Yeah. You tired of speaking for free?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what have I done? I've just spoken to my own problems that got me to buy in the first place.
How do you know if it's too many words? Because when I wrote a tagline, I was afraid it was too many words. Or are you going to talk about that later? Because I'll just wait.
The tagline, you mean the subtitle?
Yeah. Like I called it Love, Life, and Diabetes Rebuilding Life After Crap Happens, a musical memoir. But that's a lot of words.
Yeah, right?
I figured you'd hurl after you saw that.
Well, you gotta like. I like the sentiment of the subtitle. You just got to go through it and make every single word earn its place. Like I was saying with Dana,
Right.
they all
How to
have to
kick
earn their
ass when you're
place.
getting it kicked.
Say that again.
I said, how to kick ass when you're getting it kicked.
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah, I don't think you could have that in a book title, but
No, but I understand it's a clever way to do it because you are always rebuilding life, like after dad or after meeting Stu or after Stu died. I mean, that's what that was. Because I was trying to link, how do I link it together? But I'll listen.
Orange. That's better though. You gotta go look. You gotta go through it. Like for example, I used to say, if you look at my Facebook profile, it says Clint Arthur, impact, influence, income. Impact, comma, influence, comma, income. Right? I used to say transforming experts into celebrities so that you can have more impact, influence, and income. But I just cut all that stuff out and just made it impact, influence, and income. Why? Because all of this is about getting rid of the extra words. Just getting to the heart and soul of the message. Impact, influence, income. Celebrity Launchpad. Eliminating all the extra words. It's so important.
Because it could just be rebuilding life, but after crap happens is sort of the joke. I mean, that's the humor part. So then if you leave that out, or I did a musical memoir to kind of relax people that it wouldn't be too heavy.
I think it should just be called, what is it called?
Love, Life, and Diabetes.
A musical memoir.
Okay. I was trying to link it together in the title, but I can just do that in the book.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's a musical memoir.
Okay. Thank you.
It should, I'd like to have the word sweet in there or sugar in there, somewhere in there. Because sugar is the whole thing, right? How about if it was a musical memoir about sugar?
But it's not just about sugar because diabetes is the first third, but then there could be about sweetness. I mean, losing.
A sweet musical memoir. Something like that, because
Okay.
or bittersweet. I don't know.
I don't know if it is bittersweet.
I don't think of it as bittersweet, but
Yeah.
sweet is too cutesy sounding. But I understand what you're saying because that is Sweet Life Now is what the first book is called. I mean, that is my shtick, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'll think about it.
All right, good. Hey, I'm just curious. Does anyone have a clip that they want me to look at this week?
I did one. Let me see if I can find it because they never sent it
It's a
to me.
quote
But I
from
think I
the
saw it
Eddie
online.
Murphy movie Nutty Professor. Would love to. Yeah, he wants to share some stories for the Hot Lovin' book. Yeah. Okay, now how else can you display instant credibility? Now I want you to know, we had Sean King. He was a roofer. He installs roofing and windows, right? And his margins are so high, he doesn't even take a penny from the homeowner until the job is complete to their satisfaction, which I find to be crazy. That's like, what? You don't take any money until you're done? That's really, how the hell do you do that? All right. But even though Sean King is like third generation contractor, even though he's been CEO of his company for more than a decade, he still had a book called How to Hire the Right Contractor. And it was a best-selling book. He was the #1 best-selling author of How to Hire the Right Contractor. And his segment, which he ended up doing 30 plus appearances, and most of those were just from sending out cold emails, I'm told. And I'm not even joking, just cold emails. His segment was mistakes to avoid when you hire a contractor. Well, I see Dana Lamb's message in there, and I don't want to jump into like, first of all, you're free to do anything you want, okay? However, you want to be careful about coming up with a segment that's going to get old for some reason. The world changes so quickly now. I really want to find segments that you're going to get a lot of mileage out of. Like, I remember Greg Hanna had a segment, and it was about COVID. But by the time, like a week after Celebrity Launchpad, he couldn't talk about COVID anymore because it was all about lockdowns. I see Eric Couch put one on KRGV. Who is the producer of that? Zoltan. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, this was the one that ended up being like a 15, 20-minute interview. And then, as
And
he
then
said,
they
it's
just
not
took
going to be a,
pieces. Yeah.
yeah,
just
they
pieces.
took snippets of it and then did like
Was-
a 30-second.
Was
But
that on the evening news or something?
I have no idea. I never got any notice. I got like a Google alert on my name is how I found out they aired it.
Okay, cool.
So I did this on New Year's Eve. We did it at like 4:00 because she said, "Can you do it? Can you do it for?" I mean, we're doing like family time, and can you do it? And I'm like, "Yes, I can."
Yeah.
And we had 15-minute, 20-minute interview of
You
just
know how
asking.
I knew that you would say yes? Because that's one of the things that you should be writing down on a whole page, Dana Lamb. Just say yes. Whatever
Rule
they
number
say,
2.
you just say yes. Can you do this in 15 minutes from now? Yes. Can you do a completely different thing than what you pitched me, but I like you, but it'll be completely different and you're going to just have to like make it up on the fly? Yes. Just say yes. And then what do you try to do? You will try your best to use pre-scripted material that we've worked on. You try your best to use the stuff that we've worked on together so that you can sound good. Like, Eric, we did that video of me shooting the guns, right? Well, we really should have, like, I should have rehearsed it. I should have done a rehearsal so that I wasn't doing it for the first time. Because when you're doing anything for the first time, it's really hard to look super cool if you're doing something for the first time.
True. However, you always look pretty cool when you're shooting guns.
Okay.
It gives you one extra. But yeah, no, you're exactly right.
I should have,
Rehearsal.
yeah, we should have shot a rehearsal so I could see it. And
Well,
then I
Oleg
would have,
did say shoot a couple rounds, right? He was like, let's just shoot a couple rounds and get used to it. And
yeah, I
like
shot
shooting
rounds,
all of it.
but I
Yeah.
didn't shoot rounds on video because I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys, going on video is different than just talking on the radio or on a podcast where it's just your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, just voice alone is difficult. See, there's my mic cutting through. See
Yeah.
my mic? Yep. For a lot of people, just voice is difficult. And there's a lot of podcast hosts who have no business even hosting a podcast because they don't know how to talk on the radio or with their voice. They don't know how to use their voice. But then you add in the whole thing about video and it becomes even more difficult. If you're invited to go on TV off topic, a little off topic, or very off topic, you say yes. You always say yes. You always say yes. Just say yes to everything.
The
Now-
reason I asked that is because we had hired a PR company and somebody had called, a newscaster called me to come and do something. There was something, and it was about dating, so more single people, but that somebody like kind of scammed somebody or whatever. And it was about safety and online dating. And I
Catfishing?
said, yeah, I said yes. And my PR girl called me and she goes, I'm mad at that TV producer. I told her that was not your genre and you should not be doing this. It could tarnish your reputation. And so we didn't do it. And I was just talking to Marty and I go, I think Clint would have said to go do it. I like missed that
yeah.
opportunity.
Hell
Yeah.
100%.
So anyway, that kind of stinks. So now I know.
As Nova would say, 1,000,000%, Dad. You always go on TV for anything.
Mhm.
Anything you can get on TV, you're going to get on TV. I'll never forget when, it took me 6 years to get on Fox Los Angeles. And I'll never forget, we were really trying hard to get me on Fox Los Angeles. And, Michelle likes me a lot. She knows I'm great on TV. It came to a point where she goes, look, Clint, we got to get you on this show somehow. Like, sometimes we have these sponsored segments with a bed. And like, what if you were just sleeping in the bed and then like we unveiled you, like you just moved the covers and revealed that you were there sleeping in the bed in your suit and tie. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I will do anything to get on TV. Use me however you want. I'm happy to be of service to you any way that I can. That's the attitude. Now, are you going to be able to use that video? Who knows? Maybe you won't even be able to use it, but at least you'll have a clip of you on a show on your media page instead of nothing, because write this on a whole page. Something is always better than nothing. I really believe it. Something is always better than nothing. If you have something, you can choose not to use it later. You can always choose not to use it. But if you don't have it, then you don't have it. If you don't have it, you'll always feel like something's missing. You'll lack confidence because you don't have it, which is where we started on this whole thing earlier tonight with Leon Bree saying that he didn't feel confident about his book. Leon, what are the top 5 things you think people need to do to get unstuck?
Top 5 things.
I mean, it's straight out of your TV segment, isn't it? Really?
There are four things that if you're alluding to those, yes,
Okay, well, what are they?
we'll find out where they're stuck, which area of their life or business,
Okay, so that's realizing that you're stuck, right?
and accept it. Yeah.
Okay. Now you need to tell the story of how you first realized that you were stuck. Tell us how you first realized that you were stuck. Go ahead, tell us right now.
Well, one instance was when I was working in this office job, and I I realized I'm due for a promotion, and it's been a year.
All right, let's stop right there. Do you think that there is anyone in your potential readership audience who might be in an office job and feel like they are overdue for a promotion? Is there anyone that you think might be?
When I'm talking on TV to the public in the United States, yes.
I mean, just in the United States, right? That's
To
every
yeah,
single office worker that you're now identifying. Okay.
right.
Okay, great. You could start that chapter of your book by saying, I'll never forget Monday, February 6th, 1984. I realized I had a problem. I'd been working in this job for more than a year. I was the best. Everybody else sucked. And yet, when it came time for the promotion, my boss gave it to this dumb idiot guy who like was a total stoner, smoking weed all the time, and a lot of the time with the boss. I don't know. I just made it up. Now you can go into that whole scenario in your life, that whole episode of your life about that problem where you've and how you first came to realize that you were stuck. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's chapter 1. Okay, great. What's the next thing you need to do to get unstuck?
Simply put, reimagine what your life could be like if you
Reimagine
weren't
what
stuck.
life could be like. Okay, great. Tell me the time. Tell me about the time when you first reimagined what your life could be like.
Well, I was sitting there and I realized that I could have a higher position. I could qualify and get a higher position by just doing a couple things, and my life would be different.
What do you mean doing a couple things?
Doing a couple things like putting together a resume, applying for the jobs, uh, just getting moving, taking action.
Okay. Now, I want to suggest that maybe you should make up a more exciting story.
Well, that's the thing. My stories are not exciting.
Okay. Now, if your stories are not exciting, is it okay for you to embellish them? Is it okay for you to change them? Is it okay for you to make one up? Like, you know, I was riding on a boat. I was on vacation in Baja California at what's the name of that place down at the end of Baja?
I've never
Cabo.
been there.
I was on vacation in Cabo.
Cabo.
I had my 7-day vacation and I extended it by 3 days. No, I wanted to extend it by 3 days and start on Friday night after work, but I didn't have the money to extend the hotel stay. But nevertheless, I was riding the hotel shuttle from the airport in Baja to my hotel. And then you pick some name of some hotel that you've been to in Baja. I don't know because I've never been to one there. And sitting next to me on the bus was a guy who was my age and about my height and about the same weight as me. He was a lot like me in every way except one. He was really happy in his job. Did you just hear that? Did it?
Yes. A light bulb?
That was the light bulb. Yeah. That's like on Frasier when he goes, "That's the call of destiny." And like 10 seconds later, the phone rings and Daphne goes, "Oh, that was so close. That actually was right on time. That was perfect." He was just like me in every way, except that he was really happy and I wasn't. And I asked him, like, hey man, how did you get to the next level in your job? He did the same thing as me. He worked in the same type of company. He had the same type of position. He had the position that I would like to have. And I said, how did you get to go from being me to being that? And he said, well, first I wrote a resume, and then I bought a new suit, and then I got a new haircut, and then I started working out, and then I worked 1 extra hour per day so that I was the last person to leave every single day after the boss left. And then I started reading 1 book per week on our topic, and I subscribed to a magazine. And none of the things that he said were difficult. None of the things that he said even cost a lot of money. The magazine subscription was the most expensive, and that was $79 for the year. And I started to imagine what could be possible for me. I thought to myself, what if I wrote a resume for myself? Would that help me to get a job? Obviously it would. What if I lost some weight and went to the gym? What if I got a new haircut? In fact, what if I just shaved all my hair off so I had cue ball? What if I subscribed to the magazine, and could I figure out a way to stay an hour later so that I would be there and be the last one out every single day, even later than the boss? Yeah, I thought I could. And I started imagining what could be possible if I just did those few little things that he told me that he did. And I realized I could do all of them. And then I realized, wow, I could really seriously imagine myself having that job, not the job that I hate, but the job that I want, the job that would make me more fulfilled. And it really all came down to being able to imagine it for myself. See? Now, this is not fact telling. So many people think that everything has to be real, that your book has to be full of facts. I don't agree at all. We are not fact tellers. We are storytellers. And only the books with stories in them get read. I mean, think about the Bible. What is the Bible?
Stories.
Only stories, right? 100% stories.
Parables.
What's a parable?
A story.
There you go.
Metaphors.
Parable. A simple story used to illustrate a moral or a spiritual lesson as told by Jesus in the Gospels. Parable. Merriam-Webster. A usually short, fictitious story. What kind of story?
Fictitious.
Fictitious, yeah. Usually a short, fictitious story that illustrates a moral attitude or a religious principle. Short, fictitious stories to illustrate principles. That's what your book should be. Based on your own experiences in life, so that they are infused with authority, based on your own real things. See, look, when I speak at events, I sound like I'm just talking. You know why? Because I talk about stuff from my real life. And you know what happens when you talk about stuff from your real life is you see it happening in your mind's eye, which infuses it with authority, which makes it seem more real. And that's all you got to do with your stories, is you got to just see the true little elements in the story that actually happen to you. You just have to see them in your mind and then write them in, but in a way that's fictitious.
From my perspective, it's not a big deal. So I have to kind of probably step out and look
What's
at my
not a big deal? This is a really important point. What do you mean it's not a big deal?
whatever happened to me, my stories.
Okay. And what about your own personal, your own specific subject matter knowledge? Is that a big deal, or does it just seem obvious to you?
Getting unstuck.
Yeah. Like the things that you want to talk about, like Number one, realizing that you're stuck. Number two,
Think, yeah,
creating
they seem pretty obvious.
they seem pretty obvious, right? Okay.
Right.
Here's the really important part for everybody, for every single expert on this webinar tonight. What you think is obvious and simple child's play for you, like for Olga, repairing your home after a storm. Yeah, there are some issues. They're going to, depending on how much damage, there can be some complications, but really it's just a matter of knocking it out, right? I mean, you need to get, 10 squares of shingles for the roof. Okay. But you need to file a claim with the insurance company. You need to negotiate that claim with the adjuster. And you're not the one who should do it. You need to have an expert negotiate that claim for you. All these things that she knows are very simple to her. That's why she was so successful with the pitch at Celebrity Launchpad, because I'm not asking her to do anything hard. It's just obvious stuff for an expert in the topic. Every single expert thinks that your specific knowledge about your topic of expertise is no big deal. That's what makes you an expert. But unless you value that knowledge, unless you place value on that knowledge, you're not going to get the impact, influence, and income that you want. You need to value that knowledge, and you need to realize that what's easy for you is difficult for others. And the first time I really, really experienced this for myself was after I built my first house, and I was circled up at my men's team. Name of the team was Kryptonite Junkies from the 17th Hell. That was the name of the team. As soon as I became the team leader, I changed the name of the team to the Men. Allie was like, what the hell is this Kryptonite Junkies from the 17th Hell? What the hell is that? That's weird. It was weird, but a lot of these men's teams, they have weird names. I just changed it to the Men. But I remember after I finished building my house, I said to the men, we were all circled up and I said to them, men, I really, honestly, sincerely believe every man should build his own home. It was like, I had done it. It was no big deal. And they all looked at me like, huh? What the hell are you talking about? Build your own home. To me, I had been through the whole process. I'd seen it was really just, 150 trips to the Home Depot. That's really what it was. And hiring a bunch of Mexican guys to do the labor. And the right crew chief to run the crew, who knew how to read plans and talk to the inspectors and do all the stuff. It's a couple of really good hires. You had to hire a good framing contractor, a good foundation contractor. You had to hire a good person to put on stucco. You had to hire a good plumber. That's really always a tough one. The plumbing contractor, that's always tough. You had to hire a decent electrician.
Yeah, but your point is really, really key, because we do think it's easy. And so we don't, at least I haven't honored it. And Stu is always like, Maggie, other people can't do that. They don't know how to track all those things, or you need to remember that so that, and go do it and honor it. And that's what you're saying for all of us. Thank you. Thank you, Leon.
Yeah, this is the biggest problem of all experts, is that you think what you do is no big deal, but you've invested however many hours of your life, hopefully way more than 10,000 hours. Because when you get to the 10,000 hours, that's when you really have the subconscious competence that you need to be the great expert. And that's why writing the book is such a great thing, because that's an easy way to log up a lot of hours as an expert in your topic. But you think these stories are no big deal. You think that realizing that you're stuck is no big deal. Obviously, that's just obvious. Well, obvious to you, obvious to me, but that's only because we know your segment. It's not obvious to all the people in the audience who don't know your topic of expertise. Okay? Now you've realized that you're stuck, you've envisioned a new way, then what do you have to do after that? E is engineer it, right?
Engineer the steps
Yeah,
you need to
engineer the
take in order
steps.
to go from where you are to where
Great.
you want to be.
Okay. And now you need to tell a story about how you learned how to engineer the steps. And maybe it happened like by accident. Maybe, you hired a trainer and the trainer says, okay, we want you to gain 15 pounds of muscle. And in order to do that, you're going to need to eat more calories every day. And you're going to need to work out so that those calories get placed in as muscle instead of as fat. And as long as you follow my prescription here, I'm saying you need to eat 500 more calories every single day. And in order for those calories to go on as muscle instead of fat, you need to do X amount of reps with these weights and increasing the weights every single day. And he engineered a whole plan for me. He literally built a plan on paper of how I was going to do it. And that's when I thought to myself, well, if I want to get unstuck in my career and in my relationships with myself and with my family and get a girlfriend, and if I want to get unstuck spiritually and feel like I'm living a purpose, I really had to lay it out on paper, just the way this meathead, lughead trainer. This guy was no rocket scientist. He, uh, under varying circumstances, people would nickname this guy Meat. He was just a meathead, barely a step up from a meatball. But
Your
he
book
knew
is
enough.
laid out, Leon. Just get this recording.
But yeah, right? Here I am writing friggin' Leon's whole book. You got to tell these stories, see? Because everybody will listen to the stories. Everybody will read the stories because they want to find out what's going to happen next, especially if you set it up with problem, experience, learning how to have the solution. That's what these things are. That's what these books are. That's what good books are. What was the guy, what was the thing. What was the guy his brothers, Jacob, right? Jacob's brothers sold him into slavery and then he was in prison, right? And
Joseph.
Joseph, that's right. Joseph, he was in prison. And then he had a dream. Like, it's all about how did Joseph get out of prison? That was the problem of Joseph. His brothers sold him, and then he was a slave, and then he was in prison. That's the problem. It's a great story. How's it all turn out? Here's another story. There was a giant. He was the most fierce warrior. The Israelites couldn't defeat the army of, I think it was Persia or wherever it was, because they had this giant who would kill them all. How do they get out of it? Well, this little shepherd boy
David.
goes up against a giant. And all he's got is a slingshot, and he takes one rock. Wham. See? Problem, solution. These are the great stories from the Bible. Problem, solution.
That's right.
That's what your book has to be. One problem after another. And the solutions. All right.
Slaying the Philistines.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a good book.
Clint,
Leon?
by the way, I'm cycling in. You spoke about the teams, men's teams. I'm cycling in again, and the name of my team is Mandemic. I'm the finance.
Pandemic. Yeah.
I'm
that's
the
good.
finance manager.
That's good. Mandemic. We're in a pandemic, so it's the mandemic. Very nice.
Right.
See?
The meeting is at 7 o'clock today. By the way,
Is you gonna leave soon?
have to
Yeah, you don't want to be late. They'll make you do push-ups.
or something else.
Yeah. Hey, mandemic is not bad, but but I just called mine the men. And that's where my book title comes from, Wisdom of the Men, because we would sit around in a circle and I would say, all right, who needs the wisdom of the men? That was like a section of the meetings when I was running the team. Every time I would have, God, I miss those meetings. I miss running the meetings of the men's team. It was really good. And we would sit in the circle and I'd say, okay, it's time for wisdom of the men. Who needs wisdom of the men? And we would get into this spiritual place where you would feel, and this is what I want my whole book to be about. We would get into this spiritual place where you would feel the energy of generations of men coming through us. It wasn't just 15 guys from Los Angeles. This was the wisdom of the men through generations coming through us. And you could hear the air crackling. And it would get really quiet. Like the whole world would disappear outside of our circle. And it would get really quiet out in the world. And then you would hear the air in the circle crackling with energy as we would focus in on one man's problem and give him the solution. Because I'm telling you, it's all about problem, solution. Now, that was a good story that I just told right there. I was envisioning it all happening right there in my head. I was seeing it all going on. That's why I can speak with captivating power, because I'm speaking about magic and you can all feel that. Oh my God, not to get off topic, but I saw this video last night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was about this girl. It was a Facebook video about this girl, and a ghost is in the video, and the paper towel rolls along the counter. Did anybody else see that video? Oh my God. And I started watching this video, and the hair on the back of my neck started going up. Like, you know how sometimes you see stuff that's paranormal stuff and it's real, and it really feels like it's real. That's how this stuff felt. It was scary. There was one other one where they did that, and you could see the demon, like the demon ghost came at you. When I get hit by those videos in the middle of the night, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and there's paranormal shit, and I buy into it, oh man, I get so scared. It's really funny. All right. 3. All right, let's take a look here. What do we got? Let's see if we can share. Let me see if I can share my screen of this. Expert offers advice. All right. Should you retire during the pandemic? Can everybody see that? Yes? Okay, here we go.
And with the pandemic in mind, a lot of people are on edge about their long-term financial security. Channel 5's Alyssa Cole on what you should know if the pandemic has sped up your retirement date.
Okay, now look, this is not a morning talk show. This is a news anchor. Now, this might be in the morning news. Let's see. December 26th, 10:36 a.m. in local news.
Is having a news anchor interview you better?
Well, this looks like a pretty good segment here. I mean, is it better? No, it's not better. Anything is good. Any TV is good. Like people say when you do cold calls, I'll say, "Hey, can I talk to the producer who books the guests?" And they say, "For what show?" And I go, "Whichever show books the guests." Because a lot of times they don't have guests on the news, or they don't have guests on the noon news, or they don't have guests on, or they only have like local guests. They go, which show? And I go, whichever show has guests. And they go, well, that's probably the morning show. Okay, the morning show. I'm just trying to get connected with a producer who books guests because I want to get on TV, period. That's it. What are you laughing at, Eric?
Because that's exactly right. I don't give a damn.
I don't
Whoever
wanna-
books the guest.
Yeah, whoever
That's
books
who I
the
want to
guest.
talk to.
Exactly. What do but
I don't care.
But here's the problem. You can't be a jerk about it just because
Right.
that person answering the phone is an idiot and only makes $10 an hour, minimum wage. They're just working a job and they don't know anything. And just the way they don't know anything, this anchor doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything about your topic. You go on the show and you say, and the anchor says, "Hey, with us tonight is Dana Lamb. She's the best-selling author of Surprise Date Challenge, Home Edition. And Dana, thanks so much for coming on the show." And you go, "Oh, so great to be here." And then you expect him to ask you some kind of a good question to get you going. And what I'm telling you is he's not qualified to ask you any questions. He doesn't know anything about your topic. He doesn't have the slightest idea what's in your book. He doesn't care about any of this. The only thing he cares about is getting off work so he can go bang the weather girl, Maggie almost spit up her tea right there. Got her. That's really all he's thinking about is how soon can I get together with that weather girl? That's it.
And don't make me look like an idiot.
Yeah, which a lot of the producers like. A lot of the producers like to make the host look like idiots. They like to make them look stupid. Let's continue.
All new tonight. The markets took a tumble
Oh.
earlier this year at the height
There's
of
not any
Tonight.
audio for the most part, Clint. I don't know if that's.
What'd you say?
I said there's not really any audio coming through. I don't know if there's. Seems like there's a button on.
Oh, you're
to
not
share
hearing
audio or
you're not
something.
hearing the audio from the
Right.
from the show.
It's
Yeah.
low.
I
I
get
can hear it slightly from your computer, but it's just a mumble. There's no, you can't distinguish.
Okay, I get it. And I'm gonna fix that right now.
But I know
know-
Zoom has a share audio part of Zoom somewhere.
Yeah, well, the problem is that I'm using my microphone for audio on this Zoom, and the microphone is not picking up what's playing on what I'm laying down on this.
If you use the microphone and then use the speaker from your computer, then you get both. Then you don't have to wear a headset and we'll hear the audio.
Yeah, but
That's
there
what I
is
do.
in Zoom, there is a thing that says when you're playing a video or something, there is a thing that says share audio from the screen, but I don't remember how to find it. So
Share screen.
not very helpful. I just know there is something. But
Well,
Advanced options.
under audio, you say select speaker built-in output for internal speakers, and then select the microphone, use your fancy microphone. That's what I do, and it works.
Microphone. Same as system, MacBook Pro microphone.
Yeah, use your external mic that you just bought
Yeah.
as a microphone, but not as speaker. Speaker, use your laptop. Use the
MacBook
built-in.
Pro
one.
speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's already selected.
Huh.
Yeah.
But if everyone has good speakers, you could turn it up all the way and still hear what he's playing. You just have to blast your speaker.
I have it blasting.
No, not you, the participants.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I did.
We do.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody can hear except for Eric Couch. He's just being a pain in the ass. Is that what this is?
No, it is soft.
It is soft.
The volume is slight. I mean, you can sort of hear it, but you have to blast it to sort of
All
hear
right,
it.
I'm going to do this. All right. Now I'm on the MacBook Pro microphone. Is that better for everybody, for everything?
Well, let's play the sound and see if it's better for that.
Oh, it's definitely going to be better for that. Here you go.
Pandemic, leaving many Americans
yeah.
wondering
better.
what happens next with their savings and retirement plans.
There's 4 steps that they really need to take immediately.
All right. Now, okay, this is maybe a pet peeve of mine. Okay. But when you're holding up the fingers, hold them up like this. Face out. Yeah, that's 4. You have them like this. And it looks like you're missing your thumb. You're just like gesturing without a thumb. Yeah, there's 4
All the
steps.
years of wrestling with the 4 horsemen, but I'll get it. I can turn
Okay.
it this way.
All right, good. Let's continue. I like how you're smiling. That's good. Let's go back a little because I like this. Here we go.
Retirement plans.
There's 4 steps that they really need to take immediately if they're
They.
thinking about hanging up their hat and right.
Yeah, they are thinking.
Hey, I was
hanging
like,
up
oh,
their hat.
As soon as I did it, as soon as it was over, I was like, oh crap, I can't believe I did that.
Okay, what he's referring to, Dana, is that you should always be saying you and your. There's 4 steps you need to be thinking about when you are getting ready for your retirement. There's 5 things you should do in every surprise date when you are getting ready to knock your socks off your lover when you do your at-home edition surprise date challenge. Always you and your, never them and their. Let's continue.
Off into the sunset as a smiling retiree.
Eric Couch, a retirement specialist and CEO of Provision Brokerage, has years of experience in financial planning. He says the first thing you need to do is talk to an expert and make a plan, which includes a detailed budget of your monthly income.
You got the money that you got, but you need to figure out what your number is. So Social Security, pensions, dividends, distributions from investments, whatever those are, you want to add them all up so that you've got a good idea of how much income you're going to have coming in every month.
He says in retirement, you're still going to have expenses, but if you have a deficit and you need more cash, consider this.
You may want to consider purchasing an annuity so as to generate additional month.
All right, now how should you say that?
What do you mean?
It's almost a trick question. Maggie Hunts, do you know how to say that correctly? No?
Our script says the 4th, so the script that we wrote up,
You need to buy an annuity.
No.
the 4th step is that you may want to strongly consider purchasing an annuity to generate additional monthly income guaranteed.
Okay, great. But all I'm trying to get you to say is you may want to consider buying an annuity.
End up. And look, this is what I was looking at.
Yeah, there it is. Smile, end up. There you go.
And her name is Alyssa.
Yeah.
Now I just wrote in you, your, not they. That wasn't there, or else I wouldn't have missed it.
He says in retirement, you're still going to have expenses, but if you have a deficit and you need more cash, consider this.
You may want to consider purchasing an annuity so as to generate additional monthly
Oh crap.
that's guaranteed.
Lastly, once you are complete, Couch says
So that you have additional monthly income that's guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm thrilled
Every
you're
key word.
smiling.
At least I was consistently down on every keyword.
Hey, especially
Uh.
on the key words, on the word you're trying to emphasize, you always go what?
Up.
Up. Why?
Because celebrities end up.
Okay. The reason why,
And it catches people's attention.
because if you go down, people are like, what did he say? If you go down, it's not giving it the emphasis.
Right.
If you go up on the word that you want to emphasize, that identifies that as being a word that's special,
Yeah.
and it makes
Yeah.
that word stick out.
So you're saying I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable?
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Setting your children up for retirement using the pandemic as an example of a surprise financial hiccup could be the perfect opportunity. Alyssa Cole, Channel 5 News at 10.
That's a nice little segment.
Yeah.
That's the evening news, Channel 5 News at 10. That's the 10 o'clock news.
10 o'clock news.
It's good.
Yeah.
Should you retire during the pandemic? Perfect time.
I love all the money props. I mean, there's like money throughout this whole thing.
They have a lot of B-roll.
B-roll. Yeah, they like B-roll over there.
They do.
Good. Well, what'd you learn from this segment?
I learned to be flexible because she wanted to meet then, and I'd already missed her email. So I was pleading for another shot because it came in Christmas or something like that. So I completely missed it. So I was like, look, you name a time, I will be there. I don't care when. And she's like, how about New Year's Day? And I said, I will be there.
Okay.
Second was being flexible, and the fact that, I was like, it was a 15-minute interview, but she asked a bunch of questions that were not on the script at all. So I went through the entire script, and then she peppered me for another 10 minutes on other questions that I had no idea that she was going to ask about, that had really nothing to do with the script. So it was hard to, but I'd already done the script part, right? And then the other was kind of still being flexible, was similar to when I interviewed with Chad out of Baton Rouge. She was at home in her apartment wearing, just sweatpants and a sweatshirt. So, you're still wanting to practice at a 10, but you're not in that when with Sacramento I can't think of her name. When it was live
Tina.
on Daylight.
Tina.
Right? That was live on their daytime deal. And it was exciting because, for one, it's live, but you can see like her background and stuff, and you're like, holy crap, this is legit, right? So, it's hard if you haven't practiced to still be at, bringing your A game when, you're looking at their kitchen and they're wearing sweatpants, right?
Yep. That's
but you
why
still want to have the same energy.
Yep. That's why it's important when you are platinum or titanium that you get on a call with me the night before so we can get you in the mode. Not a la mode, but in the mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that one, I think was at like 10 a.m. And she said, can you do it today at, 2:30?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
But thanks for the reminder, because I'd totally forgotten about the night before thing.
Yeah. You just text me and you say, hey, I'm going to be on Zoltan's show tomorrow. Can we hop on a call later tonight for coaching?
Yeah.
For platinum coaching? And I go, yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. And I will do that. And that's it. Good. Hey, I think that this has been a very successful webinar. Just emphasis. Look, guys, it's all about simple stuff. None of this is rocket science, really. Nothing in life is rocket science unless you're a rocket scientist, but that's another story, right? And we don't have any rocket scientists in this program. It's all simple stuff. And especially if you're an expert, you think it's really simple. And that's why you're the expert on what you do. For me, going on TV is simple stuff. For those of you who are just beginning, you may be a little bit mystified or intimidated by it all and not understand how it works. But I assure you, if Danny DeNovo can do 62 appearances in 9 months, it's not rocket science. And it doesn't require that you be the greatest expert in your topic. You know, Danny DeNovo, no disrespect intended. I have nothing but respect for Danny DeNovo. Danny DeNovo did have a best-selling book, but it had a lousy cover, and it's on a topic that she's not, you know, she doesn't have a degree in happyology. She's a lawyer. She actually has a degree in the opposite of happyology. She has a degree in miserableology, which is the law, right? That's how to make others miserable by twisting them, taking their stuff, incarcerating them. It's all about misery. No wonder she became a happiness expert. Her book should start out, I had a problem. I was very unhappy because I was a lawyer. And I needed to turn that around and yet still earn a living. That's a real problem. There you go. All right. Problem, solution. We just lay it out. And if you're an expert, then you know how to solve all the problems. Easy. No big deal. You know how to solve the problems. You're an expert. You just need to realize that what's easy for you, what's simple to you, is magic to others. And when you get that understanding through your thick skull, then you can become a high-priced, successful expert that people want. All right. I will see, let's see, today is January 13th. Some of you I will see here on January 23rd. We still, if anybody still wants to come down, January 23rd, we have some space. And then Allie is doing her special new event on January 30th through February 6th. And we have space in that one. So if any of you want to come down to Paradise, see what Paradise looks like? That's what it actually looks like. And we'll have the new palapa, like, you know, the waterfall terrace is going to have, no longer going to have just an umbrella over it. It's going to be like a room up there. It's going to be amazing. Been building the palapa. It's really cool. Did you see the picture of it, Eric? You didn't see? Here, let me show you. Show you the progress. I will go back to this Safari and share that, but it will be on Facebook. It's over here. A view of, oh my God. This is a new salad that we had tonight. It's arugula, beets, and pineapple salad. Oh my God, is that amazing? Yeah, with a house-made dressing. There's the new palapa being constructed today. And it's gonna have that grass shack kind of roof on it. But you'll recognize that wood, those gnarled up, twisted root woods. There are those things in my house, right? Those are used for decoration in the house, but we're using them for structural support of the palapa. There you go.
That is gorgeous. I can't wait to see it.
It really is. I mean, you know what's really interesting? And I told this to one of my friends who's no longer my friend. He's the guy who unfriended me on Facebook and blocked me over politics after, you know, this is one of my oldest friends from high school. And I said to him many times, look, you have a nice roof. You will be amazed at how when you put an awning over an open roof area, it makes it feel like a room. It changes the feeling. Like we had this patio off I built an office. Like we had a bedroom on the top floor of the Spanish style house in LA. And we had a balcony off that with nice wrought iron railing. But I would never go out there because it was too open with no roof. We put an awning over it and created a roof line. And oh my God, it changed the entire thing. Now, you guys have all enjoyed having breakfast on the waterfall terrace at the table with the umbrella. Wait till you're there and it feels like you're in a completely outdoor room. It's a completely different feeling. You'll see. It's an amazing transformation. I'm excited for you to check it out. Maggie, you're gonna like it. All right. If any of you want in on it, go to is.gd/Acapulco events, fill out the little application, and we'll send you an enrollment form. And there you go. Okay. Until next time, smile and dial, send out your proposals, get on the shows. Let's get you on TV because why? Because I'm looking forward to seeing you on television. Good night, everybody.